Good evening and welcome to another edition of the Wright Experience. I'm Dr. William Wright. I am the CEO, founder, and host of this show. And I am also excited because we have our first sponsor. We'll talk about that just briefly tonight. We'll give some more expansive knowledge a little bit later on that. But our sponsor of the Wright Experience, effective tonight, is an organization called Infinity Force Group, which is an LLC that is designed to do some motivational speaking, leadership searches, and executive coaching. Brand new organization, just getting off of the ground. So we look forward to bringing you more information about that as time goes on. But that's not what we're here for tonight. Tonight, we are here because we have an amazing guest. And actually, this guest tonight is someone that I learned of through a mutual friend of ours. And as I've told the Wright Experience audience now for the last 4 years, as you have folks that you would love for us to interview, I just simply need to know, and we'll get them aboard. But this is not just any ordinary guest. This guest is known for his work all across these United States and abroad. My guest tonight is Dr. John W. Hodge. Dr. John W. Hodge stands out as one of America's most sought-after speakers in all of K-12 education. He's renowned for his ability to transform research into practical strategies for academic success. His journey in education began after serving with distinction in the 7th Infantry Division of the United States Army, laying the foundation for a career dedicated to empowering students and educators and business leaders alike. Dr. Hodge's academic journey is impressive, culminating in a Doctor of Education degree from Virginia Tech, where he conducted extensive research on factors influencing the academic outcomes of children from struggling families. This academic foundation, combined with his hands-on experience in various educational roles, has shaped his unique approach to education reform. Throughout his career, Dr. Hodge has worn many hats, from reading and English teacher to school administrator and education consultant. Dr. Hodge served as an avid teacher and later became associate director, that is, of Avid Center Eastern Division, where he helped expand the program to 13 states. His tenure as director of an Achievable Dream Academy, a high-performing school in a high-poverty area, provided him with invaluable insights into effective educational interventions, particularly for schools serving impoverished children. This experience led him to co-found the Urban Learning and Leadership Center, ULLC, an organization dedicated to student achievement and reducing the achievement gap. Today, Dr. Hodge serves as the Chief Inspirational Officer of AAD ULLC, following a strategic merger between ULLC and an Achievable Dream Incorporated. This union has amplified their collective ability to assist school districts across the United States in various school improvement initiatives. What sets Dr. Hodge apart is his remarkable ability to bridge the gap between theory and practice. He has a proven track record of helping educators in diverse settings, rural, urban, and suburban, implementing necessary changes to meet and exceed rigorous academic standards. And his expertise in creating and sustaining academic excellence has made him an indispensable resource for schools nationwide. As one of America's respected voices in education, Dr. John W. Hodge continues to inspire and guide educators, helping them overcome obstacles and achieve their goals. His presentations and consultations serves as catalysts for continuous improvement in schools across the country, solidifying his position as a transformative figure in American education. Now, at this time, I'd like to welcome my fraternity brother, 1 year less than me. So you'll be celebrating 40 next year. Is that right?
Yep, that's right. That's right.
But welcome, Dr. John Hodge. It's a pleasure to have you aboard the Wright Experience.
All right, thank you. It's an honor to be here, Dr. Wright. I thank my good friend John Green for introducing the two of us, and I'm hoping we can have a productive evening sharing ideas.
Yeah. It's interesting that a Q introduced us, but that's all right.
That's okay. That's okay.
That is a good thing. That is a
Yeah,
good thing.
yeah.
So let's get right into it. You've done some amazing work. We've heard your bio. And right now, and I want to go here first. We've got teachers who are teachers, administrators, superintendents, who have just finished a school year,
Yes.
or very close to it. You know, if you go up north, you know, depends on what's, you know, they might have a couple more days, but all of us are right at the end of the school year.
Right.
What is some of the most or the best advice that you can give those of us who are transitioning into summer? What do we do to get ready for next year?
I appreciate your question. I think it's an important one. It's not in my bio, but I'm married to a teacher who's been at it for over 30 years, and she's a middle school art teacher. And I tell you, she was tired at the end of this year. And I think I want to start by saying that rest is important. I think making sure that you rest your body and take care of yourself over the summer is a really good thing. Sometimes as teachers, as principals, assistant principals, we miss medical appointments. You know, see about yourself physically. I think also taking care of your mental health is very, very important. Having someone to talk to about your challenges is a good thing to do. I don't believe that in our profession you should suffer in silence. Let somebody know what you're struggling with. I think that we have to give ourselves grace, Dr. Wright. Our world went through a pandemic, and depending on where you are in the country, that pandemic had, you know, a wide array of possible impacts. And some kids were out of school for 2 years. And what I'm hearing nationally is that seeing nationally is that the child we gained back from the pandemic is a little bit different than the child who went home in terms of their learning styles and how they learn and how they interact with other people. And I want to end by saying reflect, rest, but then reflect on, even if you have to strain to think of them, 3 to 5 things that went well this past year. If you spend your whole summer in doom and gloom and worry, you are not setting yourself up for a good year next year. So we have to acknowledge it. Yes, we had challenges, but I know something went right for you this past year in that school building, and you need to reflect on that to set yourself up for a really good start next year.
How do we motivate ourselves to do that? What you just said.
I will tell you.
Okay. All right.
To me, we all of us as human beings have to be a little bit selfish at times. Okay. When I say that, you got to look out for you and take care of yourself. I'm just repeating what I said in the last response. But when I started my company, we had a book study together, and that book was The Purpose-Driven Life. And the very first sentence of that book says, "It's not about you, period." That's the first sentence. And so I think what should motivate us is to think outside ourselves of the impact we are having with children. I mean, it does something. When I see a child I knew in the 6th grade walk across the stage as a high school graduate, and they're going on to a job or to the military or to college, it affirms my why. And so as educators, we need to affirm our why. And I believe our children need us in some instances more than they ever have. I mean, I hate that it is true that they need us so much. I really do. The role that educators have had to take on expands way past teaching. I mean, it's into social work in some areas, and I believe you should reflect on those things, because that's what's more important. We are literally saving lives as educators. Period. That's not even debatable for me. Sure. And when you realize that, it helps you to see beyond the challenges. There might be a child that drove you crazy for 7 months, but in the 8th month, you reach that child. That's a win. and reflect on that. That'll kind of keep you going, because burnout is real. It's real for all educators. So what we reflect on, our mindset is so important in getting ready for the next year and keeping motivated to keep coming back.
Sometimes in that 8th month, I love it. I love it.
That's right.
I love it, because
if you've been teaching long enough, you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Do you believe that it is, whose responsibility is it to motivate the educator?
Oh, that's a great question. Okay, so in my current role, and even after our merger, what our merger meant was basically that our company kept doing the same work on a larger scale.
Yeah.
And our work is consulting, on-site consulting with schools. Okay. And we have a model that we use. It's not a product that you buy. It's a model that frames our work in schools. It's called the SAME framework, and that stands for social, academic, mindset, education, SAME. Now, what drives that model is something we call distributed leadership. And distributed leadership means, to us, all the kids belong to all of us. So it's not like a 3rd grade problem and the 4th grade can say that's their problem. You know, it's not like the English department can say, oh, that stuff going on instructionally in math is none of our business. No, we're all in this together. So the job of motivating us is us. Right. It's all of us. It's right. We got to be each other. Look at how, and thankfully I played team sports. And if you look at most team sports, before a game, they're cheering for each other. It's not even about the crowd cheering them on. They're pumping each other up. And I think I wish there was a secular term for spiritually, but I think we have to uplift each other mentally in our work. And it's got to be, it's okay to give a person that you don't necessarily get along with that great a professional compliment.
You know what I mean? Brother Hodge, I want you to say that again.
It is nothing wrong with giving someone with whom you don't necessarily get along a professional compliment. If you see them deliver instruction in a quality way, you let them know you saw it. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and I think sometimes we got to make sure we're in the right environment rather than what you just said. I see it, it's good. Let me say that it's good. Amen.
Yeah.
So let's try this one. I want to go somewhere. You've been doing motivational speaking. You've been traveling the country, from what I've heard. I've read up on you, brother. Great work.
Thank you.
What do you see as the biggest need in education now?
Oh my goodness. I'm going to do a very quick 1-2. And if you notice it's getting dark, I just had a storm warning before this.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I might, I don't want to get off the podcast, but I might need to flip on the light before. Remember we started before, it was light in here.
Absolutely. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. The audience will be perfectly fine with that.
Okay. All right, that's a first.
That's okay. That's all right.
Okay, so our question was, remind me, what were we talking about just now?
Yeah. What are you seeing as the biggest needs across the country in education? Yeah.
All right, so a quick 1-2, being able to hire and retain highly qualified staff is massive. That is massive. Not just getting them, but keeping them. That's a big deal. And true collaboration with stakeholders beyond the school. Because the job is too hard. We cannot do this by ourselves. So being able to get the community and parents behind what you're doing so that the relationship is not as contentious as it often is those two things, retention, hiring and retaining, and collaboration beyond the school, are two massive issues. Two other important issues, I believe, in an ideal world, we're paying our teachers more. That's important because that job is hard. And school funding, so that we're not struggling year to year, is really important. The idea that we may be removing funding from public schools is bothersome to me. I don't think the general public understands that the school has become not just the school, it's the second home, it's the social worker center. I know of schools right now that are washing clothes, they're taking care of kids, they're sending food home individually sometimes. So I think more funding is warranted. And if you have a highly educated population, or if you don't have a highly educated population, that's a matter of national security.
Sure.
It is. That's a true statement.
And if we really grasp that concept, that would get our attention in a different place, don't you think?
Exactly. Well, I mean, think about the funding. I was a military man, and I believe in a strong military.
Sure.
We didn't want for funding.
Right.
That I never heard that come up where there's something that is needed that we can't buy. Not a single time.
Wow.
So if
and in education, we hear it practically every day.
Yes. You think about it. If you look at I believe that God forbid another war or conflict, but if you look at how technology is being integrated into weapon systems,
sure,
the smartest country is going to win the next war. It's not necessarily the one that's got the most people, the biggest army. It's going to be the smartest one. So I do believe that we want our kids to be prepared and smart and competitive, not just on a national level, but internationally. That's the vision we should be going toward. Sure. And not to fight a war, but to make the world a better place.
Sure.
That's and honestly, Dr. Wright, that's what keeps me going. I mean, it fuels me because I truly believe that education is the most important thing to me, because you're giving birth to all the other professions. The doctors are coming through a school, the nurses are coming, the lawyers are coming through a school, all the scientists are coming through a school somewhere. So I really do believe it's an extremely important profession.
Yeah, I would love to see that research broken down into the traditional public school, because obviously that's where my that's where my hat is. But I agree, and yet sometimes we don't act like it, do we? That all of those things are birthed through that. Right. But speaking of students and their performance and trying to make them better, you've done some significant work around the achievement gap.
Yes.
And so talk to us about that. What does that work entail? What are some of your beliefs about, what we need to be doing to make sure that all kids learn?
Another great question. Our company is a little bit different than others in that we don't believe that one size fits all schools. You can be in the same district and one elementary school needs something a little bit different than an elementary school right down the road. So before we start to work in a school, we do what's called a diagnostic visit. Okay. And during that visit, we want to find out what strengths the school has. We're not going to assume that the school has no strengths because it called us. We want to affirm what those strengths are, find out where the opportunities for growth are, and then give you solid recommendations on how to move forward. And when you get recommendations from us, Dr. Wright, you're not going to get a list of 50 things. Okay. It's better to do 3 to 5 things really, really well than 50 things poorly. So we have a philosophy, less is more, when we're trying to improve the school. Now, in the diagnostic visit, we visit the school, we meet with the principals, assistant principals, counselors, teachers, parents if we can get them, and kids. This visit takes 1 to 2 days. We also visit classrooms. We're looking at the quality of instruction. At the end of the visit, we generate a report, and that report has three major sections. The first section is about building blocks for success. So those are the things that the school is already doing well. And we want to affirm that. We want to say, hey, principal, hey, teacher, you're doing this really well. Keep doing this. And that we want to build on whatever that is. The second section of the report is opportunities for growth. So this is like a laundry list of possible targets you could have for improvement. But the third section is the one I think is most important. It's recommendations. And that's where you're going to get those 3 to 5 things that we say, you need to do this right now. And then we assign a coach or consultant to you based on what your needs are. So I'm not the best consultant for every school situation. Sure. We have people who are straight up experts in whatever that need is, and then they get assigned to the school. We don't have magic bullets. We believe in processes and procedures that over time yield solid results. And so it'll take us, a year or two to see some quantifiable growth, but when we see it, we see it. And what we're most proud of is you keep it. It's not like you hit a peak and then you because we're trying to work ourselves out of a job, basically. So when we leave, you are ready to do this on your own. So that's the secret sauce behind what we do. I think the most important part, though, is our framework. The framework is called SAME, and SAME stands for Social Academic Mindset Education. So if you're going to improve a school, not just reach success, but sustain it, you got to address that social domain. And the social domain deals with how members of the school community behave. Now, Dr. Wright, when we say school and behavior in the same sentence, who do most people think we're talking about?
Us.
Well, they think when we say it, they think we're talking about the kids. Like the assumption is behavior, kids.
Yeah.
Well, but you and I both know sometimes the behavior issue is not with the kids.
That's right.
It's with the grown people.
That's right.
So you have to address that social domain. Then there's the academic domain. That's how members of the school community engage in teaching and learning. So one part of that is good pedagogy, just quality instruction. That's the adult side.
Right.
But on the kid side, if we're honest, we know that at some point between kindergarten and 12th grade, children are going to run into a less than proficient teacher. That's going to happen. That grade still counts.
Sure.
So we got to teach kids how to take responsibility for their own learning, and we need to do that early. So that's that academic domain. The mindset domain deals with what members of the school community believe. Do you believe kids can make it regardless of what bus they ride or what neighborhood they come from?
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So if we address, the mindset of the child, is education important? Yes, it is. We got to say it over and over as soon as we get them, pre-K, all the way through high school. Now, if you address those 3 key areas and add that distributed leadership part that I mentioned, like we're all in it together,
right? Over
time, you see substantive growth in schools, and it's improvement that they keep. They're able to maintain. So that's kind of our philosophy. Again, it's not a product you buy. It's not for sale. It's our approach to helping schools.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Do you believe that one of those components is more difficult than the other? And if so, which one?
All right. So that is, man, you put me on the spot. All right. This is a John. This is just me talking, right?
Okay.
For me, it's mindset.
I was hoping you were going to say that.
Yeah, it's mindset. Even though so what people are hearing is he's saying instruction is not as important. It is important. But your mindset, the mindset you take into that instruction, what you believe drives what you do, and what you do drives results.
Yeah, right.
So for me, I'm actually writing a book. I'm telling people here for the first time. It's our 3rd book, and it's called All Roads Lead to Mindset.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the
Okay.
mindset of the children, but also the adults who work with them. I That's the hardest thing to address because your beliefs are based on your experiences. So I can't say your beliefs are wrong because they're based on your experiences. So the only way I can change your beliefs is to help you get new results.
Right.
To help you get new results, then I can change your beliefs. It's kind of like it's cyclical because your beliefs are often based on the experiences you've had. So if you think kids from bus 13 are just hard to deal with and they're going to be failures and it's been that way for 5 years, I got to start by showing you examples of kids like the ones on bus 13 that are knocking it out of the park, because that will take away your excuse. Like it shows, well, kids just like these are doing well in other places. So how can we replicate that success? So that's for me personally, that's a starting point. That mindset.
I love it. I did walk you into that one, but
Yep, for sure.
but I appreciate you saying that because the longer I stay in this profession, and I've served a few different places. Certainly, I think mindset is the key.
Yeah.
To affecting those other things. Academics may even be more important because that's the work that we're assigned to do. But as you said, we got to work on folks' mindset because people have to believe that children can be successful. Children themselves have to believe, yes, but most of them kind of come pre-wired. I got to go to school. I got to learn so I can be smarter. But a lot of times it's the adults. And so I absolutely agree with you. And thank you for that. You didn't say it quite like that, but I did. It's my show. So
we're on the same page. We are. And you have to address it as a leader, this. It has to be addressed delicately. Going in, pointing a finger and a lot of blame, it's a recipe for failure. People's beliefs come from a place. And it takes some time to improve on those beliefs if you need to, but you can do it. And I think
you said it very well in the very beginning, Dr. Hodgman. You talked about teachers needing to focus on 3 to 5 things that went well. That doesn't mean there's still other things, but if we don't focus and accentuate the positives, shame on us if we think that we're going to get people to come back and do an even better job in the future. So thank you for that. Now let's talk about this motivational speaking. How did you get into that? How did that begin for you? And what tips do you have to people who are considering that?
Well, I fell into it, Dr. Wright. It was not. This was not on purpose. It started with me because I was a reading and language arts teacher. My lesson delivery style was storytelling and narratives. And when I was younger, my mom, I wasn't a big talker. And I explained that in my keynotes. But my mom, I wrote journals, just stories about things that were happening and what I felt. At 40 years old, I did my first keynote, my first official keynote. So I didn't start early with this. A lot of folks are starting in their 20s these days. But I will tell you this, at 40, I had something to say. By the time you're 40, you've been through a thing or two. So it felt natural. It felt like a classroom lesson. These days, there's so much technology available. I think using technology, things like YouTube, TikTok, to tell your story, to share your ideas, really, really important. And I would also say, don't be hesitant or embarrassed to share your struggles, because that's what helps us connect as human. That we've all had struggles, we've all gone through things, and a lot of times, what gets a person's heart and affects that mindset is when they hear you say, "I've been through that too." Now I know how hard that is, and you can get through it. I think those are keys to getting into the field. Having a book that somebody buys is another good way to get into the field. I've tried to say this to several young people, and they can't quite hear it. As I've mentored a few young speakers, and this is going to sound really weird to your audience, but I'm going to say it. If it is your dream, then do it for free. Do it for free. Like if someone asks you to speak, you go do it and just, get your chops up. Like in football, we would say, get your reps in, right? Go ahead and do it. Don't try to have a contract. When I say I did my first official keynote at 40, I was the guy that if a couple local ministers couldn't be there on a Saturday to do a speech to kids, I was like number 3. Oh, we can call John, and I would go do it. Not a problem at all. And I didn't even think about charging anybody. I was just trying to help. And one of those people called an agency and said, "You got to get this guy." So that's how. And I still to this day don't know who it was.
Oh wow!
No idea who.
Not even sure who it was, but somebody.
No idea. Okay. Yeah. But the agency called me, and I did one event, and it went well, and just kind of took off from there. Yep. Yep.
Right. Very good. That's outstanding there, brother. That's a way to get into it for sure.
Yeah.
So maybe kind of as a last, at least what I'll call a directed question. So take us back to the teacher. I want to go back to the teacher. And this is the non-traditional person. So I'm in industry like I was, or I'm coming out of the military like you were. And all of a sudden I have an opportunity to become a teacher in 2025. What do you tell them?
There's no more important job. To me, fewer things. I don't know how it feels to save a life directly,
right?
Like a firefighter or a nurse or a doctor or a police officer. I don't know how that feels, but I do know how it feels to see a child that was headed down the wrong direction come back from college and say, "You were the one for me." You did it. I have not had a feeling better than that. When you go into teaching from the professional world, I think you bring a perspective that children actually need. Okay. Because our job is not just to help kids pass a state test. Our job is to help them be employable. No parent wants to be paying their baby's bills when that baby's 45, right? So you use your perspective to actually bond with children. And I would say to them, be patient, because you might be a master at your subject area, but it takes some years to actually master quality instruction. That's a different animal. So give yourself some time, and I will end with, please ask for help. Don't struggle for 2 weeks and be ashamed to ask somebody. You tell somebody in that building, "Hey, I need some help on this."
So it's okay not to know it all.
Oh, heck yeah, brother. Yes.
All right, very good.
Tell somebody, and I think that can make for a great career.
Very good, very good. Dr. Hodge, that's exhausted my questions for this episode. Hint, hint. Okay, we're going to try to get you back up here again. A lot more we could talk about. You're an author. I'd like to do a series at some point where you can talk to us about that work and writings and so forth. So we'll certainly get you back to do that. But is there anything that you'd like to leave us with at this point? And you might want to talk about your books. How they can get in touch with you.
The book is called "You Can Get in the Way: How You Can Be a Roadblock to Risk Factors." And it talks about how a caring adult can actually block children from many of the risk factors that makes high student achievement more difficult, that you're literally protecting them from those things. And I've got examples of that in the book. It was going to be a large book, but due to some advice from very caring people. It's only 96 pages. It's meant to be an easy read, and it's also meant to bring in the custodial staff and the cafeteria staff into the conversation about schools, because one of the heroes in the book is not a teacher or a principal, it's a custodian. So it's meant to bring people together. And it's available on Audible. And I'm actually reading to you. So you can play it on your way to work, and you can hear me talking to you about how you can make a difference. And I really am honored that you asked me to come on and share some ideas. And just like before I started speaking officially, I don't mind sharing ideas, because maybe through our conversation, we reach a few people. That's right. And I don't think about just those people. I think about the kids they're teaching. And if we can reach one of them, then this conversation was worthwhile. So I'm appreciative to you and look forward to coming back.
Thank you very much. And how can we get in touch with you? We'll
okay.
Up here, okay.
My email address is jhodge@aadUllc.org. That's jhodge@aadUllc.org. You can also follow me on Twitter.
Let me see. Did I get that right?
That's it. That's
okay,
it.
Very good. And then Twitter?
And Twitter is Dr. J. Hodge 1906. I'm sure you like that.
I do. All right. Very good.
Okay.
All right. Well, Dr. Hodge, if you'll hold on for just a minute, we'll come back and close out the show.
Okay.
To the Wright Experience audience, thank you once again for being a part of this work that we're doing. We have been doing this work since February of 2021, and here we are, Juneteenth of 2025, and still pressing ahead. And so we're certainly grateful for this work. I also want you to take the opportunity to send me an email through our organization, which is called Infinity Force Group. You will begin to see content from some of these shows that'll be posted on that website as soon as we get it finalized and published. But right now, you can begin to send me emails to Infinity Force Group, infinityforcegroup@gmail.com, and I will get those. Also, if you want to reach out to Dr. Hodge for his amazing work as a motivational speaker and author, you can also do that through jhodge@aadUllc.org. When we come back next Thursday, we're going to have another amazing guest. I will reveal that information once we get everything finalized, but we're looking forward to ramping up the guests on the Wright Experience once again. We've taken a bit of a break, but we're looking forward to getting this work back in full gear, going into the summer and into the fall. As always, I appreciate you and your willingness to allow us to try to bring the very best content that we can bring. And now that we know and are familiar with Dr. Hodge, we're going to have him back as often as we need him to share his wisdom and knowledge with us and get us motivated and ready for the school year, as well as these books that he has written and is in the process of writing. Dr. Hodge, we certainly look forward to sharing that with our audience at such time. But thank you for being a part of the Wright Experience.
All right. Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate it.
All right. To the Wright Experience audience, good evening.
All right. Take care.